and good evening, my friends. It is exactly November 17th, 6:15 p.m., 2025. Hope everyone's having a nice Monday, not a manic Monday. That's the main thing that counts. And everyone's having a nice, healthy dinner right now as we speak. So, yeah, hope everyone is safe. Everyone is doing okay in this cold snap of weather here in Ottawa, Ontario. Very cold and very windy today, actually. So, yeah, it's very cold. Um, Hang on, I'm just going to turn this light off behind me. It's a little bit irritating. There we go. It's better. It's been a pretty busy day for me today. I was up since 7:30. Basically, I've been trying to apply for volunteer work for donations or the food bank or both, possibly. And also, I've been active in the community lately, um, doing all kinds of things. We had a nature hike, a bunch of us, through my community establishments as well, and so forth. So, yeah, that's the main thing that counts. Community, keeping active in the community is very important. Making sure people are safe. We also had an naloxone retraining again just past last Thursday because the OD crisis is starting up again, unfortunately. The main thing is pharmacists are not allowed to give out naloxone kits anymore, primarily, and hence the OD crisis is starting up again. I myself have talked with people within the community, and the OD crisis is going back up drastically, unfortunately, which is very sad. So the only thing we can do is to go to the pharmacist to pick up some naloxone, and you do not have to give your name. You can remain anonymous. The thing is, we need to get these kits out to save someone's life. So that's the main thing that counts. The cold weather is happening. Homeless people are trying to seek shelter into some apartments and stairwells and so forth, obviously. So that's another safety issue, an issue we have to deal with as well, as cold weather approaches really quickly now. Yeah. People get depressed around this time of year, and suicide might go up. People will be drinking more. People will be delving more into the addictions and so forth without the good support from community or crisis workers or outreach workers. We need more outreach workers as well as Christmas time approaches. So that's another thing that's disconcerting and very, kind of concerning for family members who have loved ones who are into addictions as well. As for me, we had a health fair just past Friday, and I was giving a diabetes screening. I just found out, unfortunately, I am pre-diabetic. Like there's normal stage of sugar, and there's also a pre-diabetic stage of sugar and diabetes, of course. I am pre-diabetic officially now, I found out, unfortunately. And possibly hypoglycemic, considering I passed out twice in the past month, once on the bus and once at Reader Center. Mind you, I did skip breakfast, had nothing to eat. So it's very probable I passed out from hypoglycemia. So my blood sugar could be dropping down drastically, and that's hence the fainting or passing out spells and so forth. So I found that out. I got the screening, I had to see a nurse, get blood tests, probably get regular blood sugar tests, depending on the situation. We shall see and find out what's going on with that. So my blood sugar level is 6.8. And just give me a second, I'll show you the little sheet. Now it's kind of funny because I was totally healthy about 2 years ago. My blood sugar was iffy 4 or 5 years ago, I think. I don't know, I can't remember, 5, 6 years ago. Then it went back to normal. And I'm not sure when this crept up on me. It could have been a year. It crept up on me slowly. I don't know. But November 14th, my blood sugar was 6.8. And yeah. Yeah. That day I went to the fair, though I had nothing for breakfast. I had a few coffees with no sugar before I went there. And when I got there, I had a coffee with 2 sugars in there. And I was getting a little bit dizzy a little bit, and I was tired. But for lunch, we had some soup and bannock. I had 2 servings of that. I felt okay after that. But yeah, I have to be careful. And basically modify my diet compared to before. Um, Honestly speaking, someone did give me a 1.7 liter bottle of whiskey with cognac in it on the bus maybe about a month ago. He probably boosted them, meaning he probably stole them. And he was giving $20 bills to people on the bus and gift cards and everything. I don't know. I should have refused that, but I took it thinking I could give it to somebody for Halloween or a gift for somebody at Christmas or sell it myself. But I am not normally a whiskey drinker. I'm more of a beer drinker. Red wine maybe once every couple of months, not too often though. But as a someone trying to cut down, I have to be careful more than ever now. Anyways, I drank this 1.78 liter of whiskey in 2 days. Well, no, 3 days actually, which is crazy. That's a lot. So it had kind of a maple syrup, kind of sugary kind of taste to it. It was all sticking in my mouth like maple syrup or something, or honey. So that must have been a lot of sugar. That did not help with my blood sugar levels, obviously. And I passed out twice in the past month, which is probably hypoglycemia, maybe a spike in my sugar and a crash down my sugar. I don't know. More tests have to be done. But I have to be very careful about things. I'm going to do more streams about diabetes prevention actually in the future. I'm joining a diabetes group every week, twice a week, once a week, just to find out about the diabetes, pre-diabetes, and well, pre-diabetes and diet risks of foods that can spike up your sugar and alternatives we can switch to. So no more sugar for me. No more sugar for me. I'm going to have to really be careful now. That's the main thing. And as for the drinking, I'm going to have to really cut that down more than ever. I have a drinking log going up and down. I had 2 of them on the 13th. I had 3 of them on the 12th. I had 5 on the 11th. On Friday, I had 7 with my friend, though, and 5 on Saturday with my friend there. I had 1 yesterday, but I was going through withdrawal too. I had hand cramps there, like cramps like that. I'm not sure that's part of diabetes or a pre-seizure from withdrawal. So just to be safe, I have to have a beer so I have no seizure. Besides managing the pre-diabetes as well, double whammy for me. So that's not very good. The seizure thing I had a couple years before. That's different. That's probably withdrawal. I was fine, no pre-diabetic. I was normal a couple years ago. And last year I had blood sugar. I had a blood test. There was no pre-diabetes. My blood test way early last year. So this pre-diabetes must have snuck up with me this year probably, or maybe possibly the winter. I think the dizziness started a couple of months ago, so it must have started this year, obviously, the pre-diabetes and so forth. I did get blood tested this year or screened for diabetes. Now I know I'm pre-diabetic. That's one of the things, unfortunately. I did a stream a couple of years ago about sugar. There's sugar in a lot of things. For instance, ragu spaghetti sauce is very high in sugar compared to other spaghetti sauces. So if you shop around and check out the sugar content of all of them. Ragu is one of the highest in sugar, to be honest. Ragu spaghetti sauce. So if you want to take care of your sugar intake, spaghetti sauce wise, Ragu is one of the highest. But just check it out, check the labels, see how high the sugar is, and things. Another thing is that orange juice is very high in sugar too. I have not had orange juice in a long time, to be honest. Very high in sugar. Like one glass is about it. If you drink 3 or 4 glasses, that's a little too much sugar. That's one of the things that's kind of dangerous for people at risk for diabetes, especially in the 40s or 50s, whatever, or anytime, any age, is at risk basically for diabetes. That's one thing you have to consider. What else? Even those energy drinks have sugar like Gatorade, but now because of the diabetes epidemic, they also have Gatorade Zero, which has no sugar. If I really have electrolyte problems, like cramps in my hand, like I had cramp in my hand early on, I'm drinking water. I've been having salt in my like salt in my eggs and everything. So it can't be that. Maybe it's a pre-seizure from withdrawal, extreme withdrawal from 7 to 5 to 1. That's too fast. You cannot go cold turkey like that because you're at risk of seizure after within between 24 hours and 45 hours. In my case, 24, 36 hours and things like that. And I go, oh. So I'm having emergency beer right now, to be honest, so I prevent the seizure. Now that I want to, you cannot go cold turkey because I do not want to risk a seizure. That is very, 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 very important for people trying to quit drinking once you pass 40. Even young people nowadays get seizures from quitting too fast, apparently. So that's another thing. Yeah. So that's my situation. I'm finding out. My birthday was actually just on the 7th this month. I'm now 54 years old. It was an easygoing birthday for me on Friday, the 7th of November. And I just took it easy. I only had 2 beers that day, actually. Just watch a few shows on my phone. My computer wasn't working, but now it's working now, and I'm very happy, which is good. And as you can see behind me, I have my tree all ready. My little mini tree over there. I got that up and ready. I'm going to get some lights probably, find batteries for the lights for Christmas and so forth. That's the main thing that counts, Christmas is coming. Let's get in the mood. And speaking of Christmas, people are very much need for donations. Food banks are getting a little rough now. I went to the food bank this past last Wednesday, and I didn't get much like I usually do. So I'm gonna have to go food bank again this Thursday, but no, I can't go this Thursday. I have the Humane Society to pick up some emergency cat food and cat litter, since things are very tight and more tighter than ever. So it's another thing. It's very, very tight. And yeah, it's very tough. It's very, very tough for all of us. Food banks are like crowded than ever. I've never seen so much crowds in my life. But yeah, even drop-in places are getting crowded. The place I usually go to is usually 2, 4, 6 people. Now I went there twice the past month. Totally completely packed to the max. So I used to like staying there and enjoying the breeze, relaxing. But now it's too packed that I just eat and leave now. And yeah, I just don't feel comfortable in a packed place like that. I like it cozy and easygoing, relaxing. But it's not like that anymore. I just have to leave and eat and go. That's it, or take my food out to go. And it's all food from it's a outsider from Canada making the food. I know it's really good food, but I'd rather have, it's just I know, but we're just not used to that. Like I am just getting used to these kind of foods, but it'd be nice to have some foods that we used to have, like good old chicken leg and salad, beef with noodles and things like that, a hamburger, like all these new foods outside of Canada. It's nice to know, but to have them all the time, we need some food from Canada. You know what I mean? We need to have a good balance of both of them, not all that all the time, That's the thing. But yeah, it's interesting to know these new dishes, which is good. And I like to research that more and find out, more about that a bit, which is good. But our own indigenous food, we need our own Canadian indigenous food as well. We have to maintain that, you know. We have to have that in our diet as well. That's the thing. That's why it is what it is. It is what it is for our, whatever we are accustomed to. That's the main thing that counts. I'm not against trying new things and so forth, but um, new things are kind of challenging to get used to. But there are some people who don't like seafood all the time. If you're in a certain place to get seafood all the time, if you're not used to it all the time, then if you want variety of your own indigenous food besides the ones you're not used to that just kind of popped out of nowhere and so forth. Just balance all of them together. You know, don't make it the same every day, like the same kind of like who wants to have certain kind of food every day of the same kind of thing? Nobody here. But food banks, well, we need more donations for food banks, people. I'm going to volunteer the food bank and donation for other establishments as well. Hopefully, within the next week or next week, I'll be into that and to help with the community, keep me busy. And clothing donations will be much appreciated. I got a new leather jacket, but I need new boots soon and so forth. We need more clothing more than ever. Socks, especially, is number one thing. Mittens, gloves, of course, socks, gloves, toques, and something to keep your neck warm is very, very important besides coats. All that's going to be very important, including leggings for underneath the pants to keep your legs warm and so forth. But socks and gloves, you don't want your fingers getting frostbite, being frozen to death for the homeless people out there and people in need. We need those things. We really need those things very urgently. And food wise, we need more food. Um, Eggs are very important for diabetics. Diabetes really going up there. If we have no good food in the morning, we can crash down and have you never know what can happen. In my case, I fainted. I had nothing to eat for breakfast. And speaking of diabetes and pre-diabetes and hypoglycemia, it's not really good to have white bread or white potatoes, which can raise up your blood sugar levels, like spike up really fast, and you go crashing down. Or if you have nothing to eat, you can just go crashing down, you know. But white potatoes is not the best thing to have for a pre-diabetic or diabetic diet. And white potatoes can spike up your blood sugar really up like that, really fast, and then crash down. Alternatively, you can use sweet potatoes, so you don't have that crash. It's more of it just goes like goes slowly, and it gives you more stability in your blood sugar. Sweet potatoes are better than white potatoes, that's for sure. As an example, macaroni Kraft Dinner is not good. I had Kraft Dinner for lunch and ate it fast. After about 15 minutes after, I started getting dizzy. So I think I'm going to slash Kraft Dinner off my diet. When I had it last week, I got dizzy. I started getting dizzy maybe half an hour after eating Kraft Dinner too fast. White pasta can go up and spike your blood sugar really fast and crash it down again too. So that's another thing about that. That's why I'm taking the diabetes group to find out more about alternatives, hypoglycemia. There is a nurse joining a diabetes group too, and the other one is more into the healthy eating and so forth when it comes to diabetes and cook under a budget and helping foods that will help you manage diabetes or pre-diabetes. And the nurse is here now to help medically about the symptoms of diabetes, pre-diabetes, what to do about it, and so forth. So basically, two people are teaming up together to help us, which is excellento, much appreciated. So it's very, very, very important as well. Anyways, yeah, talking about medical condition, talking about sugar, talking about diabetes, pre-diabetes, my medical condition that I have been diagnosed with now officially this past 14th, hence the passing out. Um, and donations are very much needed for Christmas time coming up. Very important. Also about withdrawal from addictions and also about the OD crisis that is going to spike up as well due to the fact that pharmacists cannot visit or give out naloxone kits anymore, unfortunately. So I urge everyone in Toronto and Ottawa, everywhere, to go out to the pharmacy, especially here in Ontario, because they cannot go out to outreach anymore. Go to your pharmacy, get naloxone training, get naloxone kits, at least 2 or 3, and then you can save a life. However, the only thing is, be careful too. One time I tried to make sure that someone was safe, unconscious it seemed like. They jumped up and grabbed him by the throat because I was making sure he wasn't ODing and was okay. Fortunately, there was a police officer nearby, and he came over and checked him out. And he said, he knew me. He said, "You're Lisa?" I'm like, "Yes, I am, Lisa. It's me." He knew me. I guess I don't know how he knew me, but he said, "You're Lisa?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And so I thought the guy was ODing, and he grabbed my neck. I'm like, "Well, it's not a good thing to do, to be on the safe side." I went to a bus stop one time. There was an unconscious gentleman there, and the commissioner was there beside him. I'm like, sick. I was like, "I know the guy. No, no, don't touch him. We're waiting for the police to come over. He's breathing now. We cannot touch him." So even though like it's conflicting, confusing to be honest, like they give us naloxone kits to save a life. At the same time, people are trying to tell at the same time they could be dangerous and jump up and grab your throat at the same time too, which is confusing. Do, do you dare try to risk to save someone and have them grab you by neck and attack you possibly? Or do you wait for emergency services to come? However, they're not breathing and they're totally unconscious. You have to do something. So I don't know. This is something to. It's confusing what to do. Like in the winter when they have a jacket on, a big jacket and a scarf and everything on, you can't really see if they're breathing or not. That's the thing. In summer you can see the breathe. In the summer you can see if they're breathing and so forth. In the winter, when they have all the coat and scarves on and everything, you can't really tell if they're breathing or not. And if you go too close, they might attack you. That's another con. However, I guess the only way to find out is to put some kind of apparatus around their mouth, see a glass maybe, see if they're breathing, and if it gets foggy, they're breathing. That's the only thing I can think of. If you see the skin is blue or gray, turning gray, then you know they're unconscious and need naloxone. That's another thing to look at. Winter or whatever. The only way to find out is if they're breathing. Instead of getting too close, maybe I don't know, get something, some kind of glass thing just right in front of the mouth. That's a good idea, actually. Get something like a glass, I don't know, something. So put it right to the mouth, but keep the distance to see if they breathe onto it and it gets fogged up, they're breathing. That's not a bad idea. Use something to check to see if they're breathing, but keep your distance in the winter. And if it fogs up the breathing, so but if they're turning blue or blue for Caucasian people, gray for Indigenous and Black people, and then you use naloxone because when they're unconscious like that, they won't jump up and attack you. They're out, and so forth. So that's the thing to think about. Of course, when people are unconscious and everything, you don't know if they have epilepsy. You don't know if they fainted from blood sugar drop, like apparently that happened to me. According to what information I got now I know it's pre-diabetic, probably blood sugar crash, probably hypoglycemia, since it happened twice in a month. And I missed breakfast those times, and I'm stressed out, and On a binge, to be honest, but didn't eat. So it makes sense why I passed out those times because of that. Makes sense. But yeah, I have to do more to manage this and so forth. So the next time, I guess we're going to mainly talk about. Well, we'll see what we're going to talk about. You never know with me, huh? But the thing is, right now, a lot of people are going to be ODing because a lot of people get depressed around Christmas time. A lot of people are going to be ODing more to mask their depression. A lot of people may be suicidal. A lot of people have been delving into the addictions more than normal. I know I did in the past before. Around Christmas time is the worst time for me. But thanks for the good support group I'm having and support I'm getting from the community. I am feeling very, very thankful for the help I am getting and assistance and working with the community. I'm very, very thankful for that right now. So that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of things to do this Christmas. It's going to be tough. We need a lot of donations. We need a lot of help. We need more outreach. We need more naloxone kits. We need to be aware of the dangers of approaching somebody who might be have OD'd, who might actually jump up and attack you. Just get a glass thing to put around and see if they're breathing. Like that's probably a good idea. I don't know. I don't know. Think of something. If you see something, put something around the mouth and the breathing fogs up in the winter, then you know they're breathing. So just be careful. And whenever you do, don't shake them too hard to hurt them and everything, all that. Shout, maybe slap them in the cheek, maybe, but don't shake them too much to hurt them. Because when the OD, they're out, they're out. Because this OD is enough to knock someone out for surgery. So when you're going for surgery and they use these things that knock you out, a lot of these things they use in surgery, like fentanyl, is used in surgery to make sure you sleep. Like with me, I had surgery in 2016 with fentanyl, and they told me what happened. That is meant to knock you out, but they said my blood pressure dropped. And in the street, think about it. In the street, when it drops, that's when you start breathing. In the hospital, when my blood pressure dropped when it's in surgery, they say my blood pressure dropped. But in the hospital, they know how to maintain it and bring it up again during surgery. They monitored me very, very carefully after that because my blood pressure was in danger of dropping after that surgery with fentanyl. So they kept watching me and watching me very carefully, and my blood pressure did drop on and off throughout my stay at the hospital there because of the probably fentanyl I imagine they used in my surgery. But on the street, there is no way anyone can maintain that like in a hospital in surgery. If I was in, it dropped down dangerously a couple of times during my surgery. They watched me after the surgery. It was dropping a couple of times after the surgery. That watched me very carefully after the surgery. On the streets, there's no one to do that. When you go down and you start breathing, there's no one to really bring you back. And naloxone is not a permanent cure. All it does is make you breathe again temporarily. You still have that drug in your system, whatever it is, the opioid in your system. It will not stop it. You still have to go to hospital. It only temporarily stops the effect of you stop not breathing. Basically, makes you breathe again. But it can happen again. You can stop breathing any time after that. You have to go to the hospital and get checked out and maintained for about 24 hours at least as they monitor you, as you can stop breathing again. So that's another thing to think about. I know I'm lecturing about the OD crisis and fentanyl and everything else, but it is around the holidays, and I'm letting you guys know that this is not a funny time for a lot of people at all. So I'm telling you the facts of things about the OD crisis and so forth, as I have my retraining there this past Thursday from a pharmacist and so forth. Those are the facts. Just ask any pharmacist, and they'll tell you the same thing. And get some kind of glassing, see if they, in the winter, especially in the scars, you can't tell if they're breathing or not. Unless, of course, they're turning blue and everything, losing naloxone. But be careful if they might jump up and grab you or attack you spontaneously. Just get a glassing underneath their mouth and see if it fogs up in the winter, if it fogs up the breathing. But it's maintained. And be careful if you do attempt to try to attempt the naloxone, because they could jump up suddenly and grab you or act violently. Just be careful. In my case, he grabbed my neck and everything, so could have been a lot worse. And he wasn't, I'm not sure if he OD'd or was ODing or what, I don't know. But that's another time in the past that occurred. So, yeah. Checking your neighbors and make sure everyone's safe. If someone seems depressed or you haven't seen someone for quite a few days, I know a lot of people stay inside and be reclusive when they're depressed. I know I did. When I was depressed and everything, all that, what I do is I go in my little cave, my little apartment here. And people knock on the door, people call me. I don't want anyone to bug me. I just go in my own little cave and stay there reclusive for a few days in my depression. Some people might do that, but it's best to check on them anyway. If you really are concerned for the safety, call the police to do what is it? Safety check or well-being check. I think it's a well-being check thing. Well-being check or well-being check, not a safety check. I think it's a well-being check, I think, or something like that. But if you really are concerned for someone's safety, call the police for a well-being check at least. Or safety or well-being. Anyways, the police will know. So that's another thing to think about. And yeah, this season should be the season for caring for others and so forth. What else? Food bank, donations. We need donations big time. Volunteering is a good thing to keep you busy. Volunteering is a very good idea to keep you busy and keep your mind occupied. Be active in the community as I am now. And the more you get active and the more you're with them, you get to know more doors that open for you to help you in your healing and so forth. Of course, there's antagonism. There are people who are going to harass you. There are people who are going to rob you. It's a dangerous world, Like in the summer, when I was cycling down Rito, someone trying to grab me off my bike and see my bike as I was on it. And I didn't want to get off my bike. I had to bite him in the tit area but he didn't feel it because he must have been on drugs or something as he was trying to steal my bike. Someone called 911 and probably was calling at the same time. He was yelling that it was his friend's bike, who was coming down towards with a bike right there in his hands already. So that was kind of suspicious and everything. Some kind of new scheme of bike thieves trying to steal bikes. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But anyways, be careful out there. A lot of people are going to be scamming. A lot of people try to steal from you, rob you. A lot of scams going out there now too, as well. A lot of scams. There's going to be a lot of scams going on. I got lots of text already for e-transfers and everything from some so-called companies. Even phone calls that said they're collection agencies. Be careful. They probably are not collection agencies. Possibly could be a scam, and so forth. Be careful using your debit card if you have tap out there. People behind you or near you could scan your card and get information and take money out of your bank. Be aware of your surroundings regarding that, especially as crowds are going to continue. And if you see someone suspicious really too close to you when you're trying to make a debit purchase, tell them to back off. One guy came right behind me when I was trying to use my debit one time at a dollar store. I took a picture of them anyway, two people, and I waited, and yeah, I noticed that my new bank account has money missing out of it, so I'm gonna have to look into that. Maybe it's just fees. I don't know, something. I don't know. When I was in Toronto, maybe something happened there. I'm going to talk to the bank and ask what happened. But it's a funny coincidence. It happened to me twice with the old bank and this new bank now, too. So it's very suspicious. Could be the same person, could be just random. I don't know. But things are very extreme when it comes to the scamming and so forth. Be aware of the surroundings, watch your back. And bars are even worse. Be careful. People still put things in your drink. And FYI, you can also put opioids as a liquid form into drinks. I found out from the retraining I got there on last Thursday. There's a new tidbit of information. People can put liquid opioids into your drink, which can make you OD as well, I found out, which can kill you ultimately. So if anyone offers you a drink, especially on the streets, be careful. At a bar, at a party, beware. Because liquid opioids can put into your drink now as well. So that's another tip of information and warning for all partygoers, all drinkers, and all adventurers out there. Please be careful this Christmas season. Please watch your back. Please watch out for each other. And please be aware. So I guess that's what I want to talk about right now. We'll focus more on the high diabetes risk and so forth and all that next time. But for now, this Christmas can be very challenging for a lot of us. And we'll talk about grocery prices going up probably next stream. Margarine's too expensive now. I don't have margarine at all for the past month, but food banks don't provide them. But that's only one thing we're going to be talking about next time. How prices of grocery items have gone up, skyrocketed up to the roof. And why so many people go to food banks and so forth. Anyways, that's about it for now. Take care, stay safe, my friends, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Miigwech.